Oh, it's been said a bard's life can often be a hard life, or hill and jail to rove and always move from town to town. And some folk have inquired if ever we grow tired of ranging all around the world and never settling down.
But one should be a little wary of remaining stationary, 'cause comfortable is lovely, but it's not the way we grow. When life starts to unravel, pick up your pack and travel. You'll find a strange serenity in places you don't know. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. You've got no map for showing which direction you are going.
But why start on a journey if you know where it will end?
And once you recognize,
to anticipate surprise, you'll relish every twist and turn that lies around the bend. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. La-da-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. The world has got its demons. There are many reasons why you'd find it harder to be brave than be afraid. But every life could use some danger. Every friend was once a stranger. Ships are safe in harbor, but that's not why ships are made. Wriggle-dee-dum-dee-doo-rat-terry-o-dee, da-dee, a-fwit-da-dee-da-dee. There's so much to see beyond the open door. It's outward bound we go. Who knows what we'll find that we've never found before. Adventures waiting further down the road. It's waiting for you further down the road. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Adventures waiting further down the road. Let's go! Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie-da-lie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Good evening, friends, and welcome back to Gothic Horror Gaming. My name is Tom Zadoyko. I'm your Gloom Master for this evening. And here on Nat 21 Adventures, we like to set aside Wednesday nights for our horror game. So this is Gothic Horror Gaming. So a upfront warning, this is a spookier, more serious, very often graphically violent and horrible things of common phobias, violence towards children, uh, men, women, uh, random barnyard animals. Horrible things happen. It is a horror. It is a horror show. So if that is not really your cup of tea, we completely understand. But wanted to be upfront about that right away. That there is a lot of graphic horror in this show. Before we go any further beyond that, however, I would like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. Let us begin with our perennial sponsor. We have Ren Adventures. RenAdventures.com. Check them out. We've got a new tour coming up this winter, December 5th through the 9th in New Orleans. Come on down to New Orleans, tour through the city, get some spooky ghost tours, and then play Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And then it will culminate in a trip to the Louisiana Renaissance Fair, where many of the Net 21 players and game masters will be performing. So get like a little bit of a backstage tour thereat. Also like to thank 3D2U, our friends over there at 3D2U.org. They make all sorts of dice trays, dice boxes, journals, all of your gaming accessory needs through 3D printing and wood burning. So check them out at 3D2U.org. And also, I would be remiss if I did not plug ourselves. We do have a book called Dare by Melissa Lee, my wife, who is Handler Z, working things in the background. She writes short horror and poetry, dark romance as well. We have a Patreon at Quill and Quote. We collect those and we've made a book out of it, which is Dare. It is available in paperback or as a e-reader version. We also have an Audible version narrated by me over on audible.com. So go ahead and check that out over there. Tonight's game, for those who are unfamiliar, it is a combination of a certain game universe and a certain rules set. The game universe is the Chill universe, originally published by Mayfair Games. In the Chill universe, the supernatural is real. It is deadly, it is dangerous, it is usually evil. It exists underneath everything in our modern world and in the past as well. It has always been there, lurking in the shadows behind everything. Most people do not know that it exists. The creatures of the unknown, as the supernatural is called, would like it to stay that way, as does an organization called SAVE, the Society of the Silver Way, that is combating the supernatural, the unknown. They don't want word to get out that this is occurring, otherwise panic might ensue. So there is an organization that has been established in the 1700s that is not an official organization of a government or anything like that. It's a group of like-minded individuals who have banded their resources together to fight incursions of the unknown into our world. The game system itself is from a game called On the Edge, and On the Edge is a very simple game system. In it, you have a primary trait and two side traits. Anything that you want to do, you see what if it falls underneath one of your traits, and that will determine how many six-sided dice you get to roll and attempt to hit a target number to succeed. So your primary trait can be anything. Let us say that you are a cowboy, and your side traits can likewise be anything. Let us say that one of your side traits is an amateur photographer, and your other one is a devoutly religious. So, as you attempt to do things in the game, you would roll dice corresponding to that. So, if it corresponds with your primary trait, you would roll 4d6 and add them together to hit a target number. So, let us say our cowboy is attempting to jump his horse over a fence. That would fall under his primary trait. So he would roll 4d6, add them together, take the number. Let us say our character is attempting to recall a Bible passage that he thinks might be relevant to the supernatural horror they are facing. In which case, that's his side trait. He would roll 3d6 and attempt to hit a target number. And then finally, If it doesn't fall under any of the traits, you roll 2d6, attempting to hit a target number. Now, opposed rolls like combat, for instance, you are trying to punch someone, you would roll for your trait that would most correspond with that, and your opponent would roll as well. And if you exceed their roll, then you would hit them. The difference would be the damage that you would do. There are modifiers for weapons and that sort of thing, but that is basically the gist of it. Now, if you wish to help there in Twitch land, you can certainly do so by spending your Twitch points with Sir David Percival over there in Twitch land. Right there, we have our tally of helps. When you spend your Twitch points, you can give a help to whomever you want. Just name the player and who you want the help to go to. And you can also give me a help if you want to help me out. Now, what a help does is basically, for you 5e fans, gives you like advantage on one of your dice. So, for instance, our cowboy is jumping over that fence on his horse, but he really wants to make sure he can make it. So he spends a help that he has accumulated. And instead of rolling 4d6, he will roll 5 and pick the highest 4. For that was what his trait would normally allow. And you can spend as many helps as you want to try to get as high of a dice roll as you can. Basically, it gives you more chances of getting 5s and 6s. So that is how that works right there. To answer a question in the comments over there on the side by Sir Whitebat, I often get confused on the edge and over the edge. One is the card game that was based on it, and the other is the role-playing game. And I forget which is which because I always get them confused. But suffice to say, if you look up Over the Edge or On the Edge, you can find the rules online. And if you happen to find the card game as well, it is an absolutely fantastic, ridiculous card game that I cannot recommend highly enough. It's out of print now, so I don't know that you'll actually find it, but it is delightfully strange. Speaking of delightfully strange, we are in San Francisco. The year is 1872. Our players, having previously encountered the unknown while on a train to San Francisco in the Donner Pass, have been approached by Save, particularly Gordon Pym, the apparent leader of Save, and asked to assist in any subsequent supernatural encounters. One has now, in fact, turned up. Gordon Pym has spoken to the players, and they are investigating a series of disappearances. And now they've found one body has been discovered from this. They are all middle-aged-ish businessmen in San Francisco, and they managed to gather some clues to figure out what is going on. So let me introduce the players and let them tell you in their own words what they have discovered. So we will begin with Jackson Weatherwax. Jackson, welcome.
Hello, I'm a middle-aged businessman. Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
I should be fine. I have only been collecting items of the suspicious and occult nature. This is not looking well for me. Fortunately, my compatriots from my terrible adventure across the country coming here are with me, and we've been investigating these series of disappearances and murders.
You assume murders, yes.
I doubt very highly that they're all just in a back room playing cards together. I fear some level of danger has befallen most of them, if not all of them, and yes, we know at least one is dead.
Indeed. Perhaps some of the others might know more. I'm going to ask Ada Monahan to join us.
Well, hello, everybody. It has been just a ride, hasn't it? You know, I
What?
thought I left all of
Go
this
on.
silliness behind me, on the train, and now we're having to deal with supposed exsanguination. Exsanguination? Is that what it's called? I believe that when they found the body, he was poof.
He was
Strange.
apparently tapped out. Yes.
Nice way to put it. Yes. And then I had to deal with another traumatic experience of once again dealing with nuns. So I would like to get to the bottom of this as soon as possible, please.
Well, we do have a former federal marshal with us, Roland Hussey.
Well, good evening. Good evening, all. Yeah. So, anyway, what we know so far is we have four missing individuals, one of whom has already been buried. People were not allowed to look at the body, but Ms. Monahan is correct. He was exsanguinated. And that is per Sisters Philomena and Teresa over at St. Mary's Hospital. Yeah, here in my handy notebook. And then Mr. Henderson over at the Palace, the concierge there, he was considerably unhelpful. But my old partner was helpful in getting me a little bit of some shiny back for purposes of getting into some places. So we might find what's going on.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I do have my old pot shooter there. Yeah, and a cat. So
For emergency purposes, of course.
it's an emergency cat. There was an old Scottish tradition to carry your cat and sporing as a war kitten because those little claws are sharp. And you throw them at people. And I figure this little roving street cat, he could probably be helpful in a similar way. Ow! Don't bite me.
Now then, you have recently left the home of the person who was found deceased, Mr. Edmund Bagstock. His sister Emily was in the home and spoke to you while Ada was attempting a seance in the upstairs and also going through things. Ada, do you remember what all you discovered in the house?
I believe I discovered a journal or a appointment book of sorts.
An appointment book, indeed.
Yes, that outlined some of his business dealings down at the docks, if I recollect correctly.
You had given it only the most cursory of examinations, but
True.
that is one thing you did notice. But now the three of you have retired. You are in the palace having lunch after the unhelpfulness of Mr. Henderson. You wanted to go search the room, and he informed you that it has been let out again, and that it has been a number of days since the body was there anyway. But you are having lunch, trying to determine your next move.
You know, every time I'm in a hotel, I can't help but wonder if the room I'm staying in, if someone has died there. I know it's not a pleasant thing to think about, but I mean, certainly it must happen more often than we think.
Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe we can go up and knock on that door and let the people know that someone did die there very recently. It would be a shame. I mean, and I doubt that they would want to stay in there, but we would be able to examine it for them to make sure that everything was fine.
If there's any evidence left.
While I do appreciate this concept, I think of how I would react if three strangers, while I was in a hotel, knocked on the door and said, "By the by, there were corpses found in this room." Then what? I guess is my.
Well, then I don't know if someone flashes a badge, then that might help. Or if there was a famous medium to say that a spirit moved her.
I am going to point out for you, just to give you a little insight. He died weeks ago.
Oh, it was weeks ago. It wasn't days. Never mind.
Yes. It has been some time.
My apologies. I've slept
Besides,
since then.
I've been doing a lot of seances for no pay.
Mm.
I'm just saying. I don't work pro bono, you know.
There was the other slightly seedier lead, other than body found drained, lacking blood, was the use of ropes. And
Right. I mean, we could go down to the docks.
Mm.
Isn't that what we were thinking about, anyways?
That was one
Indeed.
of the possibilities. Also, there is a tenant in my establishment who might know a little bit more about tying people up. But they know more about it than I.
Mm. Well,
Quite a few colorful characters we have over at the at my establishment.
what do you call your establishment,
Yes.
Mr. Weatherwax?
Weatherwaxes, obviously.
Mm.
Well, you
Delightful.
just get weather waxed on and off. All right.
I'll be changing the name.
Ah, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, I've had my veal, my lovely little Bordeaux. What next?
Well, what's closer, your establishment or the docks?
At this point, from where you are, the docks are slightly closer.
Shall we?
We shall. I walk up and leave without paying.
Very well. Ada exits the establishment.
You're the rich man. I follow.
I go for it and pay for our modest lunch.
Very well. Where are you going specifically at the docks?
Wasn't
Perhaps
there a
that-
ship?
Yes, the
Or-
SS Sturgeon.
Right, the sturgeon. I want to flip through his date book and see if I can put a hand on a name. With
You see a Captain Jansen is mentioned.
Captain Jansen. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You want to delve deeper into the book?
Sure. Yep.
Roll what you would think investigative-wise.
Okay.
Also just got another help.
I think I will. Not bad. I'm going to do a 13.
13. Pouring through his book, flipping through his appointment ledger, you discover that he has recently, before his disappearance, he had a meeting with Captain Jansen. Then he also had, going back through, you see that he's had several over the past month with the captain, interspersed with a meeting at the Japanese embassy. He's had two meetings there, and he's also has had a meeting with the Bohemian Club.
Interesting.
What is?
All right. Well, I think we should probably head to Captain Jansen? What is it?
Jansen, yes.
Jansen. Okay. Captain Jansen.
Is it a soft J or not?
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Jansen, Jansen.
And he's the captain of the Sturgeon?
The Sturgeon.
All right.
Very well. You find your way down to the docks, and without too much difficulty, you do find a merchantman named the Sturgeon. It appears to be loaded with cargo, and in not leaving immediately, but it looks like they're leaving in the relatively near future.
Quite big, I've been told. Oh, you mean the ship?
You go ahead. You got this.
Oh, you have the badge. So.
It is an average size. It is a trans-Pacific vessel.
Ah, okay.
Right.
It is a good-sized cargo ship.
Are we with steam at this point?
The Atlantic? I mean the Pacific.
Yeah, most vessels are steam powered at this point. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, it is steam.
All right. All right. So it hasn't shoved off yet, but it's getting ready to. Gloom Master.
It looks like the cargo hold is pretty well full. She's riding very low in the water, which means she's well laden with all of her goods for sale.
All
and
right.
It does. You deduce that it does no good to sit in port with a loaded ship.
All right.
Needs to go.
All right. I'll go up to the gangway and call up to whomever is standing up there. Permission to come aboard.
There's an officer of the watch, and he calls down. Yes, can I help you?
Yes. Agent Roland Hussey, U.S. Marshals. Is the captain available, officer?
I believe so. Wait right there.
All right, thank you.
He disappears, and about 5 minutes later, a very mutton-chopped gentleman comes out. His hair is starting to turn white. It's a steel grade of white at this point. And he comes down the way. Yes, can I help you?
Yes. I'm Agent Roland Hussey with the Federal Marshal Service. These are my associates, Mr. Weatherwax, and you may know her as one of the more famous mediums in San Francisco.
And your business here?
We have a few questions concerning a recent disappearance that we are hoping that you would be able to help answer. Good sir. Madam, if you would like to take the first question.
Well, I see here that you had very many meetings with a man who has turned out to be quite deceased. I was wondering what your dealings with this gentleman.
You mean Mr. Bagstock?
Indeed, yes.
Mr. Bagstock was one of 3 investors in this vessel.
Ah.
And the other 2 were?
The other 2 were Winfred Ellis and Nathaniel Bradbury.
Interesting. Did you know that all 3 of those gentlemen disappeared?
I had only known about Mr. Bagstock.
Mr. Yes, Mr. Bradbury and Mr. Ellis are all disappeared, along with a fourth gentleman.
When's the last time you spoke to any of these men?
I spoke to Bradbury and spoke to Bradbury about 3 days ago, and I spoke to Mr. Ellis about 5 days ago.
Interesting.
Was there anything unusual about their behavior? Had you met them before?
Yes, we've been having meetings off and on for the past month, getting together the goods to sail to China.
Ah, excellent. Yes. So how long have you been doing imports and exports, if you don't mind me asking?
I've done it for a while, but now that the Asian markets are much more open, thank you, Perry, we have a lot more trade going.
Excellent. And what generally is your cargo?
Oh, we specialize in finished goods.
Ah,
We take finished goods over to market and then return with raw materials.
excellent.
Finished goods? So, like,
Constructed things. Like
Yes.
I have an entire shipment of telegraph sets.
interesting. All right.
And your crew, how where how long have most of them been with you?
My crew and I have worked together on board this ship for the past 8 years.
You'll forgive my curiousness. I have never been on a ship like this. Would you mind giving us a tour? I am starting to deal with possibility of purchasing goods
Normally, I
overseas.
would say yes, but right now we are getting ready to depart.
What's your timetable like, Captain?
We leave in about 2 hours.
Well, then, plenty of time to give
I
free
have a ship to run. I have
I'm
things
sure
to
your
do.
first officer or your officer of the deck will be
Certainly.
helpful. In
I'm terribly sorry. What are your credentials again?
U.S. Marshal Service.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
And you wish to board my vessel.
As part of an investigation, sir.
Please return with a warrant.
You've been very helpful, Captain.
I have been more
Very
than helpful.
helpful.
Now, if you excuse me, I do have a ship to run. He goes back up the gangplank.
Anybody else find it interesting that all three partners missing?
Yes.
One dead.
So, how quickly could we get a warrant, do you think? Oh, I wonder if I could forge one.
We
Is there
don't
anything
have
that the harbor master could do?
we don't have any reason, friends, to suspect him of hiding anything.
I mean, he was very quick.
I must also point out that Roland, you do not have any actual legal power.
I know.
You have a stamped piece of metal.
I have a stamped piece of metal and a gun. That's all I got.
I mean, well, he was the only thing suspicious is how quickly he dismissed us from taking a tour. We could have taken a tour in 2 hours.
Yeah, however, we were pressing on the man's time. It did take him approximately 5 minutes to get down to here to meet us. So we are not high on his priority list at this moment. So
If this is my concern. If his ship is leaving in 2 hours and we have more people who are missing, shouldn't that be in slightly more interest to not only us but also perhaps the harbor master that's missing people?
again, Mr. Weatherwax, I would say no, because unfortunately, people go missing in this city every single day.
Yes.
And the only thing that makes this interesting is that they are businessmen of some relative acumen.
He he did say that it was 3 days he saw
Mr.
Mr.
Bradbury.
Bradbury, and then
Mhm.
5 days he saw Mr. Ellis.
Indeed.
That's very short time, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, that wasn't very long ago.
Nathaniel Bradbury is the most recent to go missing.
Right.
His announcement of his disappearance was only in the past day and a half.
Hmm.
My feeling is, especially since Mr. Ellis has been missing a little bit further, and then Mr. Bagstock already deceased, and we don't know about Mr. Tapley, we should potentially track down Mr. Bradbury.
I'm also interested in both the Japanese embassy and this Bohemian Club.
Would I know anything about the Bohemian Club?
Give me a roll for being a connected business gentleman.
14.
The Bohemian Club is, for those of you who may be familiar, is a modern day society. But it was started in the Nob Hill district of San Francisco back in 1871. Actually, 1872, this very year. It is a men's club. It was founded essentially as a place for mainly media people, newspaper men, that sort of thing, who all have an appreciation for the arts to get together. So it is an art appreciation club. It's a private men's social club, originally starting with newspaper men and such.
Okay.
Do you know anything
Yeah.
about it, Mr. Weatherwax?
Well, it's being the involved with the media. I can only assume that. Well, I'm trying to figure out what I know and versus what I know. We might have a few. I might have a few connections there. But do we know anything about art, about print and? Actually,
I'm sure I can figure it out. Art. Art.
I know. Where is that devil of an emperor we have? He is connected to the art world. He's hard to track down, especially this time of day. I don't know. We can still check and see about who might be lurking about outside.
Well, all right.
You are referring to Emperor Norton, I assume.
Of course, yes.
Very well.
The good emperor. If we do meet him along the way, he's talked at me. I do have one of his receipts for the tax I did pay him. It was very, very, very comical indeed.
Well, huzzah. Shall we?
Let's.
And so you're heading to?
The Bohemian Club.
Very well. The Bohemian Club is not terribly far away. Nothing is terribly far away at this point in San Francisco. It is at 624 Taylor Street. You arrive. It's a simple brick building. By this point, it's about 3 p.m. The door is there. There is a plaque outside designating it as the Bohemian Club.
What's our play, do you think?
I would suggest Mr. Well Connected here is the one who
I'm
gets
I'm
in.
I'm not that connected as you might think. I have a few. I know of a few people. They would not necessarily admit to knowing me in public, perhaps.
Mm.
But also, if this is the club of which I think, here is my thought.
Mm.
In terms of businessmen, at this time of where we are in now, there is one family that looms large, and that, of course, is the Hearsts. They have not been mentioned, but we'll see.
All right. Well,
Should
let's
we
just
merely
knock on the door.
Well, I do not know that you would be admitted in.
Ada knocks upon the door, apparently.
Oh,
After a few moments, the door is opened, and there is a well-dressed gentleman standing there. He says, "Yes, madam, can I help you?"
Good evening or afternoon. What time is it? I don't know. I was wondering if there is someone I could speak with about a private exposition at this club.
And you are...
Madam Harmonia.
A look of recognition crosses his face, not untinged with disgust. "Oh, yes, we've heard of you. We prefer true art, not charlatanry, and mumming and miming and fleecing the unwary. We are an artistic society."
Do you doubt my artistry?
"I do not doubt your ability to pull the wool over some rube's eye and take his money in order for you to tell him that his grandmother, whose name you've plucked out of the ether, is very concerned about how much he is feeding his cat."
How dare you, sir? Well, the pox on your family! And I turn and I walk away.
The door closes.
Well,
That went well.
plan B.
Mr. Weatherwax.
fine. I think we should wait an appropriate amount of time before endeavoring on this again.
Maybe you should go in by yourself and gather information. There's a bar over there. I'll go sit and wait for you.
Oh, very kind of you to offer. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
By all
Yeah,
means.
Ms. Monahan, you a drink?
Why not?
All right.
Have fun, Waxy.
Very
Thank
well.
you.
After a brief period of time,
Don't get weatherwaxed.
Literally my name.
That means two things.
It does.
Jackson.
I knock on the door.
Again, after a few moments, the door opens. That same gentleman is standing there. "Yes, can I help you?"
Yes. You've. I was told that this is a place where those who are interested in patronizing the arts can go to meet some of the well-written. I am just a fan of literature. I indeed, and
Really?
yes, I have. I will tell you the truth. I have not found adequate company to discuss the current state of literature and frankly, I've heard things about this. Not too many, of course, but that this is an establishment of refined tastes.
Oh, so you fancy yourself a literary man? Tell me, who are you currently reading?
You know, I'm giving Jules Verne another try. People still keep talking about him and raving about him, and it's I want to know what I'm just not getting about it. I understand that what he's trying to do with I guess it's called genre fiction. It's most intriguing, but I wish to know more. I wish to find. I've merely had an amuse bouche of the world of strange fiction, and perhaps maybe this is not the place. I knew not where else to turn.
Well, well, come in and let me show you the lobby at least, and maybe you can draw conclusions from there.
Thank you very much. What was your name?
Oh, I am Felix.
Felix Jackson Weatherwax.
Oh, very nice to meet you. Felix Sharps. Right this way. I'm the attendant in the reception, if you will. None of the other members are currently in at the moment. It's a little early for them. They usually arrive later in the evening. You can see we have a lovely sitting room right here. There's the bar right over there that is normally manned by myself when the actual members arrive.
Is this an invitation only establishment, or is
Indeed, it's a members only establishment, sir. But with perhaps a sponsor and perhaps a letter of recommendation, we could certainly make room for one more, of course.
excellent? What have you been reading lately? I always
Myself, I've been going back a bit. I've been actually delving into my French and reading some Dumas.
very good. Yes, very dense tomes. Very dense tomes. I'm trying to remember the name of the fellow who told me about this. Brief acquaintance. Bradbury.
Bradbury?
This is
I
no, that's not.
I didn't know that there's a Bradbury as in our membership. I don't. That name does not sound familiar to me.
I haven't. Well, I
Go ahead and give me upper society role, if you will. Whatever trait you think would reflect that.
This is me forgetting the name of the guy, and I can't find it in my notes. That's what's happening. There's
Bagstock.
Bagstock.
Bagstock. Yes, but there was the other guy as well. That's who the one who was missing.
Right. If you would still give me that roll, I want to see how your
12.
12. All right. Yes, there was Edmund Bagstock was a relatively new member, and he's unfortunately has passed away rather suddenly.
Oh, yes. You told me he was in the shipping business.
Oh yes. I had some lovely chats with him.
What he was rather, if I might be honest, he was rather cagey about what he was dealing with, which I mean I can understand. But did he happen to tell you what he was trading at?
Oh, he was very proud of it. He was partners and going in. He had arranged for a shipment of goods to China and Japan.
Yes, receiving goods and manufacturing. They would bring in raw materials. They would export it out. How was he involved with the arts?
Oh, he actually came in. He was inquiring about some pieces that he had seen over at the Japanese embassy. He was curious about them.
Oh, Very good.
And we discovered that he had a like interest, so he was made a provisional member.
Interesting. Pieces of artwork over at the embassy?
Yes, yes, yes. They have several different paintings. I believe they're on large rolls. There's beautiful brushstrokes. There's
Yes.
some armor and some art pieces that are over at the embassy itself.
I have well, between you and me and the bar here, I have seen some very interesting, very, very risque works of art as well, which apparently they seem no problem with. But
Oh, it's pretty much a small establishment. The embassy is brand new. I mean, they only the embassy itself. The first emissaries didn't arrive until my goodness. I guess it was 1860.
Well, I assume we'll talk for a little bit longer until I. Has anyone else entered into the?
No one else comes in while you were there. It's still relatively early in the afternoon. By the time you're done, it's about 4 in the afternoon.
My friend, I've enjoyed your company very well, very fine. But I don't wish to intrude. I don't want you to get in trouble for merely taking so much time for a non-member. Perhaps I will find a bit. What time do people usually later on in the evening?
Usually about 7. We don't usually allow guests in unsponsored at that point. But here, and he hands you a business card. If you would take my card, this is the card for the club here, and please feel free to write us, and we will see if we can find someone to sponsor you.
Absolutely, and here's my card as well.
Delightful. I was about to ask.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure, Mr. Weatherwax. Have a lovely evening.
Good day. And I go and I consider just going to the embassy myself, but I should get them as well. Fill them in. Well, it appears that he is a bit of an art lover. Our late friend, who was looking at some pieces over at the Japanese embassy, which I do believe we were talking about. We were thinking about going there ourselves.
He did have a couple of meetings there with I looked back through the date book. Is there any specific name in the book about Japanese embassy?
Yes, he's meeting with the honorary consul there, Charles Walcott Brooks.
Charles Walcott Brooks. Well, that's a fake name if I ever heard one.
Oh, very wealthy one.
True. He is some kind of fancy schmancy emissary person. Shall we?
Sure. Absolutely.
How were your drinks?
They were fantastic. Thank you.
I was just trying to teach Mr. Hussey here how to cheat at cards.
Oh, well, once you learn, you should show him. My drink was complimentary. Away we go.
What did you have?
A very
the Japanese embassy. Is this correct?
Yes.
The Japanese embassy is also a fairly unadorned brick building. And then you see Japanese consulate written on the outside.
Welp. Let's just go in then, I guess.
The door is open, and inside there is what appears to be a small reception area. and a couple offices behind there. There is someone sitting at the reception desk. It's a young man. He looks up and says, "Oh, yes. Hello. Can I help you?"
Hello. We were told that there's some lovely artwork native to Japan here, and a late friend of ours told us that we'd be able to come in and see that, and I was just hoping that would be true.
Well, the art we have here is Consul Brooks's private collection that he has in his office.
I guess we were wondering
wow.
if we could meet with him.
Oh, you wish to meet with Mr. Brooks?
Absolutely.
Yes. Our departed friend Edmund Bagstock apparently
Oh,
was
heavens, you were
great.
friends
Was
with
great.
Mr. Bagstock.
I'm sorry.
You were friends with Mr. Bagstock.
Yes, it was just he was such a charming man, and he was introducing me specifically to Japanese art, and
It was over an investment meeting that we had.
yeah,
for the ship.
and so we and he said that this your embassy has the best collection in the entire city.
You said over an investment meeting, so you know Misters Ellis and Bradbury as well.
After
We're
a
just-
fashion.
Yes. So very worried about them. We hope they turn up soon.
Indeed. Let me see if Mr. Brooks is free. Give me just a moment, please.
Thank you. And what's your name?
Oh, Harold.
Harold.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Harold.
very much, Harold. We really
Give me just a
appreciate
moment.
this.
There are
Harold,
so
go.
many names of so many people.
Harold goes to the door, opens it, sticks his head in while keeping his body in the reception area. He talks briefly, and he says, he turns and says, Mr. Brooks is free right now if you would like. Right this way, please.
Thank you, Harold.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Actually, I do not. I am pulling some of these names completely out of my colon.
I'm writing them down.
So am I for future reference.
Why do they have baby naming books? I mean, there's the phone book. I mean, that's got names in it. That's where I got my name.
How many people know where there's a phone book anymore?
Oh, that's true. That's
True.
true.
Fair
Well,
enough.
Exactly.
it being
Nick, who has a phone book?
1871. I don't. There's
No
no
one.
phones, so never mind.
No.
No one has a phone book.
Oh, if only there was a way.
You get ushered into the room, and it's a well-appointed office with large pieces of Japanese art spread throughout. There's an entire shogun armor set off to the side on a stand. There is a large painting with the broad brushstrokes of the Meiji Restoration period, and some lovely pottery. There's a tea set on the table next to a ledger, and there is a late middle-aged, early elderly man there. Very distinguished looking, balding beard, and he holds out his hand, well dressed, holds out his hand and says, "The pleasure is mine, Charles Walcott Brooks."
Roland Hussey, thank you so very much for meeting with us.
Jackson Weatherwax.
Mr. Weatherwax, nice to meet you. Madam, your name?
Ada Monahan.
Ada Monahan. He takes your hand graciously. A pleasure, a pleasure. And you, sir?
Oh, Roland Hussey. Yeah.
Roland Hussey. Pleasure,
Yes.
a pleasure.
Yeah.
And to what do I owe this visit?
Mom, Mommy.
We were
What? Wait, you're with the fuzz? What?
no. Sorry. Nothing. It was my baby. My pocket.
He looks around confused.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
Um, oh, I see. You have a cat grenade. Fine,
Yes.
fine.
You can never be
They
too
love
careful.
their cat grenades. Yes,
You can never be too careful. My people were Scottish. See?
indeed. That explains the cat.
Yes, indeed. We came here because we were told by a mutual acquaintance of ours, Mr. Eben Bagstock, that
Yes,
you have
stuck. Yes.
that you have just the most spectacular collection of Japanese art.
Well, I mean, I have these half dozen pieces that I've collected. When I was writing my book, I collected all the artwork.
As we're looking around at these pieces, I'd like to make a roll, an observation roll, looking for anything specifically related to the occult. As I have started to research this, I'm just seeing if anything particularly is jumping out at me as anything that I've encountered or remembered, or perhaps even read about in something.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's terrible. That is a 7.
Something jumps out at you literally. No, no, nothing.
This book, it seems to be popping out. Ah!
The book is a mimic, and
Oh wow! I didn't even realize you were going there.
no, nothing here.
A mimic in San Francisco. This is Robin Williams, isn't it? He's a time traveler.
There's nothing in particular that seems occult oriented. And neither do any of the pieces seem related to one another. They're just various beautiful pieces of art.
I would also like to make a roll. I would like to see if I could tell if they are real or not, if they're forgeries.
Sure, go ahead. You have no knowledge of Japanese art that I'm aware of, so you roll 2 dice.
10.
They look real to you.
Great. That's a great roll.
Tell us about this book you're writing.
Oh, I've already written it. It's a book on history, on Japanese history in particular. That's why they've appointed me as their temporary consul here at the embassy until they can actually get an envoy here.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, and did you go to Japan for a very long time?
I've been twice now.
Oh.
I want to welcome all of our raiders who are showing up right now. Welcome to Gothic Horror Gaming. We're doing a horror-based game. They are investigating strange disappearances in San Francisco in the year 1872. It is a horror-based game, so keep that in mind as you come and join us. Continue.
We were such friends of Mr. Bagstock. I was wondering if there was anything in particular that he quite enjoyed more than anything else in terms of, the art.
Well, he was very smitten with the tea house that opened up nearby.
Oh.
The Falling Lotus Tea House opened. It's about 3 doors down. A lovely Japanese woman has set it up over there.
Oh. Can you tell us anything about this tea house? I'm frightfully.
I've been several times. Madame Kumoti is a very delightful and wonderful host, and I've had tea there usually about once a month. I go for a tea ceremony. Obviously, she is very skilled, is clearly trained in the art of tea service. And I believe Mr. Bagstock went a few times as well. He was interested in some of my art, but he wasn't. He was more curious. I had another piece that was here a while ago, but it has since been shipped off to go to Chicago for a museum piece.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, it was a jade figurine. To be honest, I never even took it out of the crate.
Ah,
Um, I was afraid of damaging it. I had bought it in Japan and had it shipped over here. Bagstock was asking me about it a little bit, but then I had to ship it off over to Chicago.
Mm.
oh,
Shame
yes.
that.
But
When is your book coming out?
my book is out.
Oh,
It's
my
out now.
goodness.
Good heavens,
Oh.
yes. That's how they know me here.
If
That's how they know
I
me.
if I were to procure a copy, would you be able to sign this for me? I think that'd be just a wonderful treat to have in my library.
I would be delighted.
Oh,
I'd be
excellent!
delighted. I would insist, however, that you read it first. So that
I'm a quick read.
So you can tell me what you think of it.
You wouldn't happen to speaking of reading, you wouldn't happen to pardon me, dear, you wouldn't happen to be a member of a certain bohemian club?
I am not a member. No,
Mm.
Hmm.
I've thought about it.
I have as well. I was just looking for perhaps a sponsor. Would you have any copies of your book on hand?
I do, in fact. I do have mine. It's right here. He produces the book.
But this is
Kind
only
of
one
an
copy. We need. What I was going to suggest.
I'll
is
read
that
yours
we need,
later.
we need to go to the. We must go to a bookshop now and purchase copies and then return read them quickly and then have you sign. I believe.
Right. Do you know if we were also friends with Mr. Bradbury and Mr. Ellis? Do you know if they also went to the Falling Lotus? Do you know these men? Sorry if I'm opposing.
I don't. I think Ellis might have gone. I don't know
Hmm.
about Bradbury. I did not know him very well.
Ah, yes.
Hmm.
Well, thank you very much for letting us see these lovely pieces.
And
They're
thank
quite
you for this copy. This is I look forward to reading this.
Please,
Right.
please.
Yeah,
It is essentially it is a memoir of his time touring Asia.
That sounds very interesting to me. I actually do look forward to reading it now.
Well, it's getting close to closing time here. I'm.
Oh, thank you so much for being so accommodating to us.
yes.
The pleasure is absolutely mine. Anything I can do to further Japanese American relations would make me more than happy.
Absolutely. We'll have to.
Delightful.
We will have to have a tea ceremony at some point.
Here's my card. Yes.
Indeed, perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
All right. Good evening to you all.
Well,
I believe you're supposed to bow. Is that?
He's American.
He's very American.
I'm just trying. Yes, but I'm trying to win in Rome or Japan.
All right, fine. Good day to you. That was weird. That was weird, Jackson.
I know that. This whole thing, we have gone to more places in this city today than I have been here since I have come here, and frankly, my feet are getting tired. I look forward to having this tea for no other reason than I slightly hungry.
Do you think they're still open? I mean, it is late in the day. Well, let's go over.
As you round the bend to the address, indeed, the Falling Lotus Tea House it looks like an admixture of American, but also Japanese style. There's a little bit. There's a kind of an angle to the roof and a curve to the roof that looks a little pagoda-ish. There's some columns out front, and the door is open. Obviously, they're folding doors, and they have opened all the way. A lovely jasmine scent is filtering out through the open doorway.
Well, isn't this nice?
Indeed.
Shall we?
Sure.
You enter, and there is as you enter, there is a young lady. She bows as you enter, and says, "Can I help you? Welcome to the Falling Lotus."
Thank you. We've heard of Madame Komoti. Is she Komoti? Is she available for a tea ceremony this afternoon?
She's not present at this time in the house, but I can certainly serve you tea if you like. She gestures toward some very comfortable tables. You see that there are a couple other guests at other tables already.
All right. Sure, let's go.
She said, "Right this way, please." Are you familiar with tea ceremonies?
Not at all. This is a new experience for me.
She begins to describe to you the honor of the tea, the proper steps of tea service, of which I, the Gloom Master, am not 100% certain on, so I will not butcher the individual things of this ceremony. But she basically walks you through what a tea ceremony would entail. It is an elaborate procedure. She says, "Or we just have tea." She gestures to a different table.
I wish to. My knees are not what they used to be. I am. I would be severely uncomfortable sitting in the traditional style. Is there something a bit more?
Yes, of course. Of course. We have for our neophyte friends. You can just try the tea in a more relaxed atmosphere, and then decide if you would like the full experience at another time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very gracious.
Delightful. Before you go, we were recommended this place by a good friend of ours, Mr. Bagstock. I believe he came in here often.
Yes, he has been here several times. I have not seen him lately.
Oh, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but unfortunately he has passed.
Oh, that is terribly unfortunate. Oh, I am still learning to read English, and I am not very good with it yet. I am so sorry to hear.
Yes, he will be missed.
Oh.
What do you remember about him?
He seemed a nice enough man. I know he came in here several times. She says she begins pouring your tea for you and getting everything ready. Came in here several times. He seemed nice enough, but he did apparently have some vices, as some men do.
Do you know what they were?
Oh, good heavens, no. She looks over, and one of the tables is flagging her down. She says, "I'll be back in just a moment." And she walks on over and attends the other table.
Careful about the vices. She seems very polite and
Indeed.
not necessarily willing to divulge that.
Don't want to rattle, upset the locals too much.
She wasn't upset. She just doesn't know.
She finishes with the table, goes in the back to drop off some dishware, and then comes back to your table. How is everything?
Oh, this is... Which one? What did you say this was again?
Oh, this is... What you're smelling is our house blend. It's a jasmine tea.
Oh, it is divine, isn't it?
Yes, it is a jasmine green tea. You were
Delightful.
asking me a question. What was that again?
Oh, just about Mr. Bagstock. We just miss him so
Yes.
much.
Oh, he seemed a nice fellow. Asked about, he asked about a place to experience more of the East.
Hmm.
Um,
Like a restaurant?
she looks around.
Would
She
these
finally,
would
she,
these
she
be
when
more of those vices?
when she sees that no one is speaking, she leans in closer and just mouths the word opium.
Oh, yes. Sometimes we all have those things.
He was asking if we knew of any, and uh, I hope it has nothing to do with his unfortunate demise. But I did tell him I knew of one.
Oh, he did. He died of something else entirely. Trust me. It was not this particular thing.
Well, he asked about the about it, and I mentioned I let slip that the over in Barbary Coast, there's the sleeping dragon, and I fear he might have gone there.
Oh,
Sleeping
oh,
dragon.
don't worry yourself about it. You know, he was he was a good and kind man. He really was.
Oh, I would like to think so. He was always very pleasant when he was here.
Mm,
But
indeed.
If you would you've been very helpful. If you'd be so kind to give us a moment to think kindly upon our friend, and I tip her generously.
yes, of course, yes, of course. At your leisure, and she departs.
All right, friends, we have traveled. We keep being sent to different places and different places. I've. What have we
Mm-hmm.
learned? We've learned more about him. We've learned more about what he, kind of man that he was, and he
Locked
more
opium.
dealings with the Orient than any of us have really much experience in. He, not only as a business person, but also in terms of culture. Um,
I will say this. If there is any place that is close to, I don't want to say dubious, but an opium establishment seems like it
Dan.
might have. Den?
Dan.
Den, all right. Might have a little bit more answers to the seedier side of things than this lovely place. If I
Well,
know anything about it, which I do.
Now that might be if it is more of a seedier side, then I do think that perhaps more of our Mr. Hussey, more of our official capacity might be easy to engage in terms of protection or in terms of some kind of information on this, rather than walking directly into the dragon's den, as it were. Perhaps
I don't mind.
well,
then you've clearly not been inside one.
might be able to.
You don't know me, sir.
They are technically still legal at this point.
Yeah. What do you say we go over?
I say let's.
Maybe
Besides,
get
the
a.
lawman might spook them.
Yeah. No. I don't know any lawmen. Oh.
It is about 5 blocks away, and it does not take long to get there. It is
Are
in
there
what
any
is called,
food carts on the way?
Yes.
yes, actually. There's a place dispensing kebabs of some kind.
I'll get a kebab.
Me as well.
You get that before you get to the Barbary Coast. Barbary Coast is the nickname. Jackson knows this well, for the red light district in San Francisco. They call it Barbary Coast.
Mm.
And it is not hard to find the sleeping dragon. The smell gives it away. That sickly smell hanging in the air, with an admixture of unwashed bodies, a certain sense of laziness and lethargy hangs all around. There's a wooden dragon in silhouette hanging from the signboard. The place cannot be very old, but already the smoke has stained the lower part of the sign. The door remains open. It is dimly lit as night is falling, but you can see small fires burning inside, lamps and such.
All right. Who wants to go first?
You're the expert.
Let's go. I walk in.
You walk in. You are almost immediately greeted by a man of indeterminate origin. He is swathed in robes, also of non-determinate origin. You might want to say that perhaps they are Chinese robes, perhaps they are Japanese, perhaps they are old medieval monk robes. It's very indistinct. He leans forward. You know it is a man when he speaks. As he leans forward, he goes, "Ah, yes. Welcome. Can I help you? I can help you find your inner dreams, perhaps."
I need no help with that, sir. However, I know a former patron of yours, Mr. Bagstock.
We do not disclose the names of our clients for their confidentiality, as you might expect.
Fair enough.
I would like to look around to the decor to see if I notice anything.
There are several individuals slumped over in booths in the corner with hookahs in front of them.
I imagine there's lots of curtains about.
Yes, there are, and it becomes a maze as you go back in. You can see there is a hallway that goes back, and it looks like there are rooms off to the side that are curtained off rather than with a door.
When they are curtained off, how are they secured? With rope?
Yes.
I'm going to look to see if there perhaps anything if the ropes are tied in any interesting ways.
Very well. Give me an observational roll. Ada, I assume you are keeping the gentleman busy while Mr. Weatherwax is looking around.
Indeed.
I'd like to use a help.
Go ahead.
Thank you. That is just a 10.
Everything in this place appears somewhat haphazard.
Mm.
There are some of the curtains have ropes, some do not. They are all tied differently, when they're tied at all. There's probably about a half dozen people laying about. Roland, what are you doing?
I'm more than a little intrigued by the actual substances that are around. So I'm just kind of taking it all in. And then I go up to someone and just ask, "May I?"
A patron's bleary eyes. He's appears to be some sort of dock worker. His bleary eyes look at you and look down at the pipe. and then just kind of look up at you, and then his eyes kind of roll a little bit, and he lulls back into
Roland.
his.
Well, everyone else is. It seems fine.
Roland.
Are
Trust me.
you over with me at this point? Or
Actually, no, Weatherwax. You are busy looking at the
Yeah.
curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Indeed, it is. It is strong, but not overwhelming.
Oh.
The euphoria hits fairly quickly. You feel a bit feel tired. You've been walking all day.
Feel like there's like a cat
Nibbling at your neck.
nibbling at my neck. This is
Yes.
amazing. Yeah. Like, I turn to the dock worker. Do you feel like there's a cat nibbling on your neck?
He looks at you and says, "Huh?" And then his eyes loll back again. And even so, he reaches forward, takes the pipe from you, and takes another puff.
That's something.
The robed gentleman has noticed this and says, "Ah, your friend is partaking a shared offering. Are you sure I cannot entice you as well?"
I would like to do just a quick cast around the room. I want to see, is there like a ledger anywhere or something that might have any sort of record keeping something
Sure, go
around?
ahead, give me a roll.
Yep.
I go over to Roland. Oh no! Oh my! Oh, he's chasing the kitty.
Hey,
Ride that kitten.
I got a 16.
16. You see that there is some sort of accounts book on a small table off to the side.
Delightful.
Perhaps this might withdraw. It's a very peppery but totally harmless tobacco.
Could you prepare us a room, please?
Indeed, that will be $5.
Jackson?
Just yes. What?
Can I borrow $5, please?
Well, we won't have to worry about me being a businessman very much longer, will we? I think I here you are. Thank you
I'm good for it.
You are good for nothing, my dear. That is why we keep you around. You'll excuse me. I have to make sure our dear friend Roland is make sure nothing falls out of his pockets. As oh dear, his pants are around his ankles. Oh dear.
The gentleman takes the $5 and picks up the book and opens up a couple pages.
Yes, Roland. Yes, a kitten. Yes, pet. Yes, the kitten.
Do I read anything?
Oh, are you trying to look over his shoulder while he's doing it?
Yes.
Go ahead. Give me a roll. You're sneaky. You can roll 4.
I'm gonna use a help.
Very well.
$17.
Really?
Wait. Yes, 17.
You do spy a recent entry that says Bradbury, and it says room 5.
Is room 5 available?
He stops. He looks at you. He does not appear to have noticed that you saw what he was going. He's like, why? Well, yes. As a matter of fact, it is.
I have a thing about numerology.
Indeed, indeed, very well. I will prepare a pipe for you, and I will be in shortly. Would you like tea as well?
Please.
Very well. 3 teas and a pipe. Very well. If you will go back down that hallway, the very last curtain on your left is room 5.
Thank you very much. Does he put the book down?
Yes. He made a note in it.
Okay.
Like he wrote in it. He wrote something and then closed it and then set it down and gestured.
All right.
Are you going to help Roland down there?
Yes.
Roland is not incapacitated. He's just very happy right now. Happy.
All right. Put your shoes on. We're going to grandmother's. Right this way.
My grandmother's dead. In Georgia.
Exactly. Come on. Let's go. I take the kitty.
What do we? That's a rat, dear. That's a rat.
Follow the rat.
Where's my kitty? No.
He thinks it's a kitten. It is a rat. It is a rat.
We end up
let her off.
I just assumed it was invisible and only in my head.
No, we've all been watching it. Right this way.
Yes, there actually was a rat on your chest. Ada is now holding it.
Can I have my kitty back?
Come follow me. Follow
if
the
you're
kitty.
very good and here, take.
Don't talk to me like I'm 5, Mr. Witherworks.
I can only apologize. Right this way.
All right. Do you have my shoes?
There is a curtain closing the room that you have been told is room number 5. It's a heavy, thick, coarse weave curtain.
Is there anything interesting about this room in particular?
You have not gone in yet. You're sitting outside of it.
Oh, right. I would like to go in.
Yes.
You open it. There's a small, low table in the middle. There are cushions spread all around. There's a musty odor in here.
Smells old.
I'd like to just sort of maybe search around for any like, I don't know,
I'm lifting up the cushions to see if anything has maybe fallen out.
Very well.
Pockets.
Jackson and Ada, each roll me 1d6.
5. I'm rolling like great.
1. Very good. Ada, you turn over one of the cushions and a corpse stares at you from underneath the cushions. You assume it's a corpse. The figure is bloated. It is its features are distended, and there is a thin gauze over its entire frame. Its mouth is open. Its eyes, though, are closed, and it's sitting there, wedged behind the cushions. As you look down at it, it looks like the eyes dart around behind closed lenses, behind closed lids, until the eyes burst open and dozens of $50 size spiders come crawling out of the eye sockets. Everyone roll me initiative.
Oh, 6.
9.
How many are we rolling?
You can roll 3, I think, for you, Jackson.
Oh.
Roland, you can roll 4.
All right.
10.
16.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can only roll 3. You are intoxicated, sir.
Oh, all right. Very good.
I will be right back.
In that case, 7.
All right. Very well. The spiders that first burst out leap upon to Ada's chest and scurry about, trying to get underneath her clothing. Ada, roll me 3d6, please, to attempt to
I'm going
brush.
to use a help, please.
Go ahead.
16.
Before any of them could get underneath your clothing, you managed to brush them off of you. About 4 of them, and they scutter around on the floor.
Ah!
While you are thus preoccupied and Jackson is looking, the mouth opens. It is open, and several spiders climb out of there and begin to approach, spreading out, approaching Jackson. Roland, you're pretty sure this is not the effects of the intoxicant, but you see the stomach of the corpse begin to rise.
What is happening?
Jackson, what do you do?
Is the tea and the hookah is not there yet, is it?
He has not come in. You went to the room first.
I start kicking at the spiders and stomping on them.
Very well. You may attack the spiders.
$12.
You managed to crush several. You managed to crush several under your shoes as they are scurrying about the floor. But there are more and more coming. Roland.
Are they in front of me or behind me?
In front of you.
I grab the 2 of them by the backs of the collars and pull them back out the curtain.
Very well. Do you want to be pulled back, Jackson and Ada?
I'm fine with this.
Yep.
You fall back out of the room, and all 3 of you roll me 3d6 to see if you stay on your feet.
I do not. I got a 5.
I got a 5 too.
17.
Jackson, you take a step back, keeping your balance, but Ada and Roland fall upon their rumps into the hallway, out of the curtain. Ada, on the floor, you can see they are coming. You've actually ripped down the curtain at this point, pulling back through it. Not that the curtain would have been any particular barrier for you. And you can see that they are spreading out across the floor and coming your way. What would you like to do?
I would like to cast about, is there like a broom or something, anything that I could potentially just whack them with?
You're in luck. There is, in fact, a small broom.
Great. I would just like to grab it.
Keep in mind you're on your butt at the moment.
Sure. So I guess to maybe scramble up on my feet and grab it. Would that be an action?
That would be it. Your action. You are now armed with a broom.
Great.
And on your feet.
Love that.
Roland and Jackson, from your positions, standing and on the ground, you see the stomach swell and split like an overripe melon, and out cascade dozens more of these spiders, covered partially in viscera and gore as they flow out of the wound like a squeezed pus pimple. They just ooze out and spread throughout the room. Jackson, some attempt to crawl up your leg. Give me a defensive roll.
How many would
I'm
that
going to
be?
use the help as well.
I will use a help. $14.
You just managed to avoid being bitten by one as you slough them off your body as they attempt to crawl up your legs.
How is this place lit?
Roland, they are at your feet and attempting to get into your clothing as well. Please give me a defensive roll.
How many do I roll for that?
Normally I let you roll 4, but you're only rolling 3 because you are intoxicated, sir.
All right. 10, 11.
You are bit by one in the leg. Ah! The pain is instantaneous. It slices through the opium fog that you were existing in, and you are jolted to sudden awareness and sudden stabbing pain shooting through your right calf where it had crawled up your pant leg. You then managed to get it out of your pant leg. You may have crushed it when you did so. You're not sure. Jackson, it is your turn.
How is this place lit?
There are some oil lamps in and about.
I'm going to help Ada to her feet.
She is on her feet.
Oh, she's on her feet.
Yes.
Then I help Roland up. We are leaving. We are getting out of here as quickly as possible.
You managed to haul Roland to his feet.
I'm like pulling him on. I'm carrying him out like a drunk at the bar. I've got his arm around my shoulder. We are leaving.
Very well. Roland, you're on your feet. Jackson has a grip on your arm and is pulling you out down the hallway back to the entrance.
Is there an oil lamp within grasp?
There are some in the side rooms.
I pull away and I grab an oil lamp.
Jackson, are you going to let him pull away?
How are we far? Like, did we get any distance down the hall at all?
10 feet, maybe.
That's fine.
Roland, you grab you go in, your leg almost gives out from under you as you walk in from the shooting pain. And at this point, I need you to take 2 points of damage.
All right. All right. Got done.
And you grab the oil lamp out of that room and make your way back to the doorway in intense pain. Ada.
I scream fire. Everyone out, fire, fire, fire. I just scream. Hopefully my shrieks will rouse people out of the building.
And are you doing anything else?
I'm following them.
Very well.
Just going. I got my broom. Ready, just in case.
All right, very well. You back up to where they are, facing the room with the spiders. The spiders spill out into the hallway and attack you, Ada. Defend yourself with your broom.
Quick, 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 quick. 3?
Yes, 3, but you do have a help hanging out.
Yes.
I don't know that it's going to help you.
11.
You manage to bat away a bunch of them. One bites you on the left hand, searing pain immediately. That hand lets go of the broom. Take 2 points of damage from that. as the poison courses through your arm.
Okay. Bah!
Jackson.
He has he's grabbed an oil lamp.
Yes, he's grabbed an oil lamp and come back to the hallway.
I'm going to hold my action in case anything happens to him when he does his.
Very well. Roland, take a point of damage as the poison continues to course through you.
All right. This is fun. Is it my turn?
It is.
Oh, all right. Excellent. I raise the oil lamp. I take up Ada's call. Fire! Run. And I smash the oil lamp.
Are you throwing it at the spiders?
I am throwing it at the spiders.
All right. Roll me 3d6. Let's see where it goes. Keep in mind you have a help as well.
All right. I will take the help.
Very well.
All right. That makes 19.
It lands right in the mass of them, right outside the door to room number 5. The glass shatters, and fire instantly spreads throughout the wooden hallway.
This is when I help him further. Like we're yes, very good. Yes, well done. Arson it is. Time to go.
Very well. Ada.
Getting the heck out of Dodge. Still screaming fire for everybody, but I'm very concerned about my hand.
Yes, take a point of damage, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And you are all now, at this point, in the main area. The fire is engulfing the back of the building. What would you like to do? We're no longer in a turn order.
I'd like to grab that book.
The book and the gentleman are no longer out here, nor is anyone else.
All right. Lickety split. Y'all, let's go.
You race out of the building. The street is empty. The darkness has fallen at this point of the night. You race out into the street. Behind you, the building is going up in flames. You hear a distant clanging of an alarm bell. You're standing in the street. You're not taking any more damage, but the pain is very much there. It hurts a lot. There will be consequences. What would you like to do? You're standing out in the street.
I'd like to find a doctor.
Keep in mind it's about 7:30 at night now.
How far away is St. Mary's?
St. Mary's, you could probably get there in within 30 minutes.
Bless you.
Let's go there.
Very well. As you leave the street here in Barbary Coast, your calf, your hand throbbing with pain. You look down, you could see black necrotic tissue already spreading from the bite wounds. As you look back over your shoulder, you see the sleeping dragon collapse in on itself. The fire begins to spread to other buildings as a fire brigade comes up and begins to try to douse the blaze as you make your way to St. Mary's.
I take
And
my
at that-
belt. I'm sorry.
At that, we're going to call it an evening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at Gothic Horror Gaming. I see we've been running the content warning for the past little bit, because not only do we have spiders, but also fire as our phobias for tonight,
And
as well as
opium.
some good old-fashioned body horror. So, So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for this one. We're going to continue next week, and we'll see what happens to our intrepid adventurers at that point. But I do want to take a moment. We have a few minutes tonight, which we haven't had in the past couple. I want to ask the characters what they are thinking. So I'm going to make this a little easier and take people out of the picture and ask you one at a time. Jack, what are Jackson's thoughts right now?
I know less now than when I did when I started. I thought that Save might be a little bit more forthcoming with any kind of information. I'm beginning to. I'm having my doubts and worries about this organization that has called us to investigate a thing that we know even less about. Nevertheless, it is we are tasked with investigating this, and investigating this we will. I feel like we are being a little bit too cavalier with our introductions, but nothing can be done about that.
Very well. Well, let us ask now Roland Hussey what Roland is thinking right now.
I picked a terrible day to give up sniffing glue. No, in all seriousness, what have we gotten ourselves into? Rotting flesh on my leg. Just what a day to start opium. Seriously. I have rotten flesh on my leg. We are no further along in this investigation except that evil spiders burst out of a corpse in front of our faces at an opium den in San Francisco. This is not the kind of thing that happens back in Georgia. I mean, seriously. Goodness gracious.
Indeed. Well, let us ask Ada what Ada is thinking right now.
I did not survive the streets of New York, that damn train, and this past year to be taken out by a damn spider. I don't care what I have to do in order to survive. I don't care. And as soon as I am out of pain and with this dealt with, whoever is responsible for this, they have another thing coming to them because I am mad.
Ada thrives on her anger. And with that, we will bring everybody back in and say thank you once more to everyone watching here on Twitch. This is Gothic Horror Gaming. I am your host, the Glue Master. Now that we've heard what our characters are thinking, let's say hello to our players, shall we? And we'll start off with Ada. Ada, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Hauser. I am a member of Taste Treasure, and this weekend and next weekend, you can find us at the Southern Indiana Renaissance Festival, May 13th, 14th, 20th, and 21st. I also have a new Instagram called Rune Away with Me, Katie, where I do intuitive rune readings, if you are interested in that. So that's me.
Excellent. And let us also meet Jackson Weatherwax.
Hello, I'm Steve O'Dockerson. I am going to be at the Sterling Renaissance Festival from July 1st through the 13th, where I'll be Royston Badgernoose, Sheriff of Warwick. I was a pamphleteer, and now I've been promoted. Probably through crime. Also, you can go to hobthetroll.bandcamp.com. That's hobthetroll.bandcamp.com. And hear from not only my most recent album, 50 Million Hob Fans Can't Be Found, but my earlier album, Pet Smells. Pet Smells. And hear my beautiful vocal harmonies on Wouldn't It Be Nice by crazed shut-in Brian Wilson.
Indeed. Very good. Then we also have Roland Hussey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Kostelik. I am your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare at several Renaissance fairs around. So my new album, Those Midsummer Nights, is available now on Bandcamp. You can get there. ShakespeareProves.bandcamp.com features other fantastic artists like Lady Prudence and Matt Young of Rover's Way, Queen Anne's Lace, and Jim Hancock, the burly minstrel himself. And I'm at the I'm at the Scarborough Renaissance Festival now through Memorial Day Monday as the entertainment director there. So that's a lot of fun. And then I'm going to be at the Oklahoma Renaissance Festival for their final weekend, the first weekend of June, as Shakespeare. And that's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And hello again, everyone. I am the Gloom Master. My name is Tom Zadoyko. We've already mentioned Dare, our book, and our Patreon, Quill and Quote. You actually have to put in the / Quill and Quote. It is a rated R material. It's dark romance. It's sci-fi. It's horror. So you do have to put that in, as it is considered adult content. Visit us on Patreon. My wife, Handler Z, who is in the background, writes the stories, then I narrate them. If you're a Patreon, you get the stories as we produce them, and then eventually we compile them into books. You can get our first one, which is called Dare, which is a compilation thereof. You can find Dare as a Kindle ebook, as a paperback, both on Amazon, or go to Audible and look up Dare by Melissa Lee. There it is, and you can find it that way. And please check us out there. Also, I am performing with Buckle and Swash. Currently, I am Captain Red Swash Rogers. I am currently in Tennessee. I'm at my fabulous host's house here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I will be here rather, until Memorial Day Monday as well. And then after that, I'll be at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair doing all kinds of stuff. But we'll worry about that later on down the road. But on behalf of everyone and on behalf of our sponsors, one, our Dare, two, 3dtu.org, our friends who are making all sorts of gaming accessories, visit them out at 3dtu.org, and also renadventures.com. Check them out. We've got a New Orleans D&D 5e tour coming up in December. Be sure to get that. Well, I think we've already formed a couple tables, so space is starting to fill up on that one. So be sure to check it out. On behalf of all of us here at Nat 21 Adventures and Gothic Horror Gaming, thank you so much. Visit us at Nat 21 Adventures, our Patreon as well, to give us a little support to keep this going. And we will see you next Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Mwah.
Mwah.